In this tutorial I'm going to show you different ways how to set up an instrument track in Cubase Pro 9. On the last video we looked at how to record audio using Cubase. On this video we're going to look at how to record MIDI and instrument tracks. So just muted the audio track from before, and we're going to select audio 2, 3, 4 and 5 and right click and remove selected tracks. And as you can see in our mixer, we've now only got stereo in, audio 1 and stereo out, as all the other tracks, faders have disappeared because they're not there anymore. Right, now we can add our instrument track. There's a few ways of doing this. The traditional way of doing it was go to Project, Add Track, Instrument Track, then a pop-up box would appear which would let you add an instrument track, how many counts of the instrument track, select the instrument you want, select its output, and let's have a look. So we've got a list of our instruments here, and we could select drums, Groove Agent SE, synths. We got Halion SE, which is the new version of Halion 1, Loop Mash, Mystic, Paint Shop Pro, Prolog, Retrolog and Spector. So let's select Halion 1 SE and we're going to go for stereo out. We're going to have one count of it, so we'll add the track. As you can see, that appears in your track list, and also you get a little fader in your mixer for that as well. Also, what loads up, which has gone off my screen, let's pull it up, we actually get the Halion 1 SE instrument panel. Right, now that isn't going to play at the minute, so what we need to firstly do, like we did with the audio tracks, is go into the inspector section and select what our inputs and outputs are for the instrument track. So a Halion 1 SE track, we've selected that. So let's have a look on the left hand side at the inspector. Okay, and here we go, all MIDI inputs. So that is possibly not the best one to use. You want to actually select the device you want to play into Halion 1, just in case you've got any other MIDI inputs like system exclusive messages being recorded, which maybe you don't want to happen. So what we can do, we can actually click on that, and as you can see in the list, I've got quite a few different devices. I want to select Studio Logic USB controller keyboard. Now for the output, obviously we're not going to change that because that's actually Halion 1 SE. Now if you remember when we set up the instrument track, we chose stereo out. So the actual audio output of the instrument will come through our stereo out and to our speakers. Now that's how you load the instrument, but we haven't actually loaded the sound that goes with the instrument, or the sounds. To do that, we select, I call it the diamond key because it looks like a diamond. It's actually like a little box. So click on that and we're going to select load. Make this bigger so it's a lot easier to see. I just want to explain how this works. You've got a filter section here, and you've got a results section here of what you've filtered and what's actually going to show in your instrument sound library. Okay, so firstly we're looking at HSSE library and Halion Sonic SE Grip. So these are all sounds. Okay, and from these two banks we've got categories we can choose from: accordion, bass, brass, all the way down to woodwinds. So if we select one of these categories, it will filter out everything else, so you only concentrate on the category you've selected. So for instance, if we click on piano, and as you can see everything else has been filtered, and now we've got in the subcategory acoustic piano, electric piano and other, and these are the different sound banks for each of these categories. So from here we go over then to our results, and these are all the sounds from these three subcategories. So we could select upright piano, and that sound will load into our instrument here. As you can see, that's just loading in now. So that is the traditional way of doing it, and you can just click anywhere on the screen and that just hides in the background. Now to get that to play, we need to enable the track like we did with our audio track on the previous video. So we click that here, and now we're ready to practice. So anything that's being played on a controller keyboard will be received and sent out again, hopefully. Now, as you can hear, that piano sound is called upright answers, and it's got a slight delay or digital delay on there. Now, if you look on the instrument panel down here, you can see that there, digital delay and mix. So if you didn't want that, but you like the sound, you can turn that off. Okay, so that was me playing the controller keyboard just behind me there. I haven't got a camera set up, so you can't see that. And I was just triggering the MIDI going into the track, and it was playing the instrument. On another tutorial video, we'll go through Halion Sonic SE and show you what else it can do. But that's how you call up an instrument track. Now we can hide the control panel for Halion SE in the background, and we can set up another instrument track. So click on instrument, and this time we'll try Spector. Okay, so selected that, one copy of it, one count of it, Spector and stereo out. That'll do us nicely. Okay, you can see the extra tracks popped up, and again my editor's gone onto the wrong window. Right, we'll just place that there a minute. So as you can see, again it's loaded up the interface but with no sound. So first thing we do, we select what sound we want. So we go to the little, I call it a diamond key, diamond icon, and just load preset. We're going to choose, let's have a look, synth pad, and randomly anyone, China Space. Okay, now as you can see, this one hasn't got a keyboard at the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do with this one then, we're going to again go to the track, select our Studio Logic USB keyboard as our controller keyboard, and record enable the track so we can hear it. Make sure the record enable is off on the previous one, Halion Sonic SE, as you'll hear both playing together. Okay, and now we're going to try the keyboard. Okay, and that's very nice. And again, and like I said, if you got two selected, you'll get both playing together, and you can record both together if you wanted to as well, if that's what you wanted to do. And that is how you use instrument tracks. Now there is another way to do it, so if I just close that down. If you remember from previous videos, we've got these icons up here, which is the show and hide icons. If If we open up the right hand panel, and as you can see in our tree or our list, we've got both keyboards loaded up, or both instruments loaded up. Okay, now what we can do, where it says VST instruments, we go into the media bay, we can select our instrument here. Now the advantage of this is, well, let me just demonstrate first and show you what happens here. So we click on instrument, and now we can see a list of the panels of the instruments, the actual instrument itself. And what we can do, let's just grab this here and just stretch it this way a bit. You can see a bit more. Okay, so we've got Spectral Retrolog this time, I think we'll try. So let's click on that. And we've got Retrolog 2 library and Retrolog library. So let's go to Retrolog 2. So instead of actually loading the instrument up, what we can do now is we can listen to the sounds before we actually load the instrument. So if we go here, it takes a little while to load because I've got my video recording software playing at the same time. So let's have a look. That's quite nice. How about, what's this one sound like? Okay, and how about this one? Okay, that sort of pierces the ears with that sound. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just using my mouse wheel now, just to with my finger, just to roll the wheel down. And as you can see, you can just quickly scoop through the menu that way. Or if you haven't got a mouse wheel, you can just drag that as well. I quite like the mouse wheel, it's quite nice to do. So what's this one? This looks like a good one. Now, if you want to audition this in a different octave, you can just use this slider here. And you can turn the velocity down here. Okay, that's too low for the sound. It sounds quite nice though. A little arcadey effect, arcade game. Okay, so let's go back up one. And so as you can see, you can try different variations of that. I just adjust that velocity a bit, and volume preview, just turn that down a bit. Okay, and so let's have a look. So basically, we're not sure what we're after. So what we can do, we'll just pull this panel down a bit. We can choose it in a different way. So this time we'll go Asian, and so there's only one sound in that one, so we can go to clap. So that's one way of doing it. So we're actually using the Retrolog 2 library for that. So I'm not sure what I want there. So let's go back to home again, and let's try a different way. Let's do a search this time, and this time I'm looking for, what should I look for? Flute. So we're looking for a flute, and now what's going to happen is it will look at everything in Cubase, all its sounds, and it will try and find us a flute. So as you can see, these are audio ones. These are some GM ones. So let's have a look. Digital flute. So let's just click on that and try it. And there you go. Let's try another one. Doesn't sound like a flute. Let's try higher up. That's a bit better. So as you can see, let's load that one in. So we'll double click that. And now it's loaded it in. And let's just click on this little icon here. And this one is using Halion 1 as the instrument. But what we've done, we've found the sound before we've actually gone and tried the instrument out, which is better. Sometimes you want to find the sound you want to use and not mess around with trying to find what does this instrument do? What sort of sounds does this instrument make? Which is good sometimes for experimentation, but sometimes you just want to look at the sounds and get creative. So with this media bay, it's quite good for that. What you have to remember though is to take the filter off if you want to go back to where you were before. Now this way of doing it from the right hand panel may not be in your version, but if you've got the latest version, I would definitely recommend using it because it's a lot quicker.